Chapter 26, Example 3. Create a list of 20 anxiety scores between 1 and 10, and a list for 20 math scores between 30 and 100. Look at the scatter plot and find the correlation. Is there evidence of a relationship between anxiety level and math test scores? So we did an activity in class with anxiety level and math scores. Now we're going to look at it in generating our own data. I will go ahead and generate anxiety scores randomly from the calculator. You do the same thing with math score. Provided that on the right there, you can do it on your own in StatCrunch or on the Inspire calculator so that you have that to do. You'll get slightly different results, but the procedures will be the same. So our null hypothesis is that B1 equals 0, and the alternative is that B1 does not equal 0. So there is no association between anxiety scores, and our alternative is that there is an association. Looking at the scatter plot, it looks pretty random. Kind of makes sense because we randomly generated the data. I don't see any pattern here. Maybe you can think it looks a little negative. But the scatter plot appears to have random spread. With no linear pattern. So I am hesitant to fit a line to the data. Let's go ahead and look at the residuals though, because we'll fit a line. So the residual plot looks pretty random. Maybe a little bit of a curve in there, but it's not bad. And with constant spread. So the residual plot shows no pattern or trends, and has consistent spread. Finally, let's look at a normal probability plot of the residuals. Looks pretty linear, maybe a little bit of weird stuff going at the end, a little bit of curving, but nothing significant. We'll mention it, but we'll proceed. The normal probability plot of the residuals is fairly straight, but does seem to curve a bit on the low end, on that left part. This is not significant enough to affect my analysis. Though the nearly normal condition is not met, I will proceed with a student's t-model with 18 degrees of freedom for a regression slope t-test. We will just go ahead and use the calculator or StatCrunch, whatever you're using, to generate the statistics for us. T equals 0.60395. And the p-value is 0.5534. Degrees of freedom are 18. The variance, 0.0199. Correlation is negative 0.1409, so it has a little bit of a negative slope. Standard error of the slope equals 1.569. And finally, our model itself is score hat equals 63.5546 minus 0.9477 times the anxiety. My p-value of 0.5534 is very high. And I will fail to reject the null hypothesis. There is not sufficient evidence to show that there is an association between anxiety score and math score. This makes sense as my scatter plot did not look linear and the data was randomly generated. We shouldn't see an association there.